VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question, and that is, why do some people believe you need to defend an alleged and rumored predator just because they share the same phenotype as you? I have a lot of stuff to talk about regarding this P. Diddy situation and other subjects. On this channel, we usually play video games and talk about different subjects, sometimes having complicated conversations, sometimes having funny ones. If that sounds interesting to you, please like and share and subscribe. We'll also be doing more videos like this where I talk about news, whatever I really want to talk about, honestly. There's no real home base for the subjects on this channel. In any event, I wanted to talk about this P. Diddy situation. I kind of don't want to talk about it, to be fair, but I did have an angle on it. I'm seeing not a lot of people, but enough people, including even people I respect and enjoy their content, defending Puffy, aka Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, for what he's doing. And I don't know if defending is the right word, but at least engaging in a whataboutism in regards to the way the coverage is, the way people are reacting to Puffy, in particular how black content creators are reacting to Puffy because he's black, and the whole quote-unquote stay on code concept. Sean Combs, if you don't know, which I'm sure most people do, has recently been raided by federal agents tapping the cell and the phone in the basement. It's a Biggie line, who obviously was signed to Puff Daddy and Bad Boy at one time. We'll get into that. And I will say this, I'm not totally rejecting of the concept that some people get a raw deal in the media because they may or may not be a certain race. I looked to a recent story, or two recent stories, to juxtapose. One being Jonathan Majors, aka Kane the Conqueror. And granted, I'm not an expert, so if there's details that I missed on that story that would have better helped me understand why the reaction was what it was and why the verdicts were what they were, please let me know. But it very much seems like he got a raw deal, right? It seems like he was trying to avoid a situation with his woman, who happened to be of another race. She happened to be Caucasian. He's, of course, black. And it definitely seems like he got a raw deal. For me, he lost his Marvel job. Some of the charges didn't stick, some of the charges did, and it seems like he was trying to, while there was a conflict, it doesn't seem like he was really engaging in violence with the woman, unless, again, I missed something. I wasn't ear to the street coverage, and I'll get into why that is in a second, because it's going to have a little bit to do my reaction to these type of stories in general. But for me, I felt like Jonathan Majors got done pretty dirty, and then granted, it's a different area, but you see this Josh Giddey situation where there's pictures of him with this 15-year-old girl, and there's really not that much media coverage, and there's no real investigation. And it's like, well, what in the world? This guy seems to be a legitimate predator. And at least from what I can see, again, if there's more evidence, let me know. I don't want to just go off of my perception. I want to know the truth. But from the evidence I can see, it just seems very unscrupulous what happened with Josh Giddey. There's pictures of him with a 15-year-old. He's alleged to have had a relationship with her, and nothing really came of it. So I could absolutely see, if you look at these two stories, why you might say, you know what the fuck is going on? They happened around the same time, similar time frame, or at least they were in the media around the same time. I'm not sure when the actions happened, but I can see how one might say, wait, this doesn't fit right. You know what I mean? And then if you look at some of the other stuff, Kyrie Irving was lambasted by the sports media for just posting a link on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So you say, hey, this coverage doesn't seem consistent. And is race a reason why? I don't think that's an unfair question to ask in some of these situations. But that said, I don't really get caught up in that when it comes to celebrities. Get into slight conspiracy theory, which we'll probably get into more throughout this video. Man, a lot of these guys and gals are indeed Freemasons or belong to fraternal or sorority orders, and a lot of this stuff is humiliation ritual. We saw something similar with Ryan Garcia. That seemed to be a humiliation ritual. We saw John Cena naked at the Oscars. That seems to be a humiliation ritual. So I don't really want to go too hard in defense or get emotional about any celebrity, because I don't know what Freemason bullshit they have going on, quite frankly. So even with this Puffy situation or any situation, I'm never going to really go hard with the racial thing, because this is not reflective of society. Now, there are things that happen to regular people that are much more reflective of society. Talking about police treatment, which honestly the police are treating everyone shitty, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on where you can say, yo, there seems to be a racial element to it. Hell, even this Baltimore bridge thing where, okay, this bridge collapsed and then there's all this kind of undue criticism for the mayor. Well, he woke up at 2 a.m. and didn't have a suit on and people were upset. You see, like, what the hell? A bridge collapsed, people died. This is surely more important than all this other stuff. But that notwithstanding, Puffy hurt a lot of people. Some of it is alleged, some of it isn't, right? So even if you want to play the racial card, right? Okay, this black man is being lambasted by the media. What about the black men and women whose career never existed? Countless. We don't know the people who went into an office that, you know, a bad boy office or anything that Sean Combs was involved with and were propositioned allegedly and said no, and so their career never happened. They got blackballed. They couldn't go to another company. That's it. Their career was over because they said no to Sean Combs. What about all those black people that got hurt? What about the people that said yes and got abused, and even if they did have success, they had to live with it? Allegedly, Usher was 13 living with this man who was in his mid-20s at the time. There's a lot of really weird, unscrupulous stuff that has been rumored around Puffy. That's not even talking about some of the suspicious deaths like Kim Porter, who was a former girlfriend of his, and other people around him. I mentioned Biggie earlier. There's, you know, some alleged theories that he may have been involved in both Biggie and Tupac's murder. So there's a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of smoke around Puffy, and now that there may or may not be fire, I'm supposed to defend him just because he looks like me, despite all the people who also look like me who he has hurt allegedly and not even alleged. That doesn't seem right to me. I don't understand it. I do understand, hey, and it's funny, I just watched a video on Gary Glitter. If you don't know who he is, he made the song dun, 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 hey, dun, 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 hey, and he is a nonce. He's a sick effing person and a demon who's been convicted many times for predatory stuff. He's currently in jail. Apparently potentially could have parole next year, and will be out by 2031. Hopefully I can put the link in the description or the comments of the video I just watched. And there was a call in that video that his music, I mean, we've all heard that song many a time. It was in Joker. It's in a lot of stadiums during sporting events. But there was a call, hey, you know what? This guy is very disgusting. That music shouldn't be played. And I only bring him up as a predator, just the idea that there are predators who are Caucasian who probably do deserve more heat and deserve less admiration by society. Even guys like Jerry Lee Lewis, who's been brought up, oh, what about him? Which I'm not a big fan of whataboutism, but I do think some of the people like a Jerry Lee Lewis, an Elvis Presley potentially, a Babe Ruth potentially, they still get exalted by a lot of media and a lot of people, and they deserve more of a black mark on their name. I would definitely agree with that, but that doesn't absolve Puffy of the stuff he did. That doesn't make sense. Evil is evil, man. Evil is evil, and who knows? Listen, if there's evidence that shows Puffy is innocent of the crimes that are being alleged, then I'm more than willing to hear that. When I look at somebody like Michael Jackson's situation, I don't necessarily know if he did what he was alleged to have done with those kids. I mean, there was a lot of criticism that he had for Sony. He had a lot of different people's rights. He had a lot of different publishing that he owned. His death still has some mysterious elements to it. Definitely seems like he was murdered. And then there were people who were close to him who said, yeah, people came to me saying, I'll give you 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever the number was to tell everyone that Michael Jackson did something inappropriate with your child. So there were people looking to get him, which leads to me to think more that he was innocent. I'm not saying, I don't know. Like I've said with all this, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. I'm living a regular life like anybody else. I'm not an expert on anything. If you got evidence, put it in the comments. Let me know. Oh, well, with this situation, this happened, and you need to look into that. I'm more than willing. I'm all ears to hear where I'm wrong or mistaken or just don't have enough information on. But when it comes to Sean Combs, there's been many a whisper about his predatory behavior. We've seen it, just at least not necessarily illegal, but just unscrupulous. Everybody remembers, or people old enough remember, the making the band, making people go, cross town for cheesecake just to embarrass them. And then we saw I think it was a Drink Champs episode where he's very creepily talking to Fabulous and, when we gonna party, when we gonna hang out, and it definitely seems like there's a sexual thing going on. This isn't because Puffy is homosexual or maybe allegedly homosexual. I don't know if that's alleged anymore, but it's because he's predatory. And we saw what happened with him and Cassie. At least the lawsuit got settled really quick, but we see that, there was some predatory behavior there. So this guy has a history and a reputation of a lot of predatory behavior, a lot of illegal behavior that's been alleged. Again, especially when it comes to the Tupac murder, alleged that he had some involvement with that. So he's no one to defend. He's hurt a lot of black people. This idea that I need to stay on code and not talk about Puffy, no, I don't buy that. Now, if you again, I don't disagree that some other people who, some predators of different races need more attention brought on them. If you want to, again, especially when I talk about Elvis and Babe Ruth, even though Babe Ruth may have been a mixed black man, that's another can of worms. You ask Ty Cobb about it, he has some colorful things to say about that. But you look at certain people, even people who are gone, and their memory is of something positive when, no, there was some other stuff going on. So yeah, I don't agree that they should have such clean reputations, but not everyone does. I mean, people look at Weinstein as the predator that he was. People look at Epstein as the predator that he was, even if when that Ghislaine Maxwell trial, there was a distraction trial with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That's another can of worms for another day. But people do look at these predators as predators. And again, I don't think you should be, absolved because you look like me. That's crazy, especially when you hurt more people that look like me. What about the people that got hurt? They don't matter because Puffy's high profile. What about the people he hurt? You know what I mean? What about the people whose careers couldn't start because he wouldn't let them because they told him no? What about the people that got abused by him? We talked about Usher. Sheesh, there's evidence that maybe a guy like Justin Bieber got abused by him and Usher. Allegedly, again, I wasn't there. I don't know everything, but these are the things that get rumored. So what about these people? Now, again, if it's all rumor and he gets away scot-free by the legal system, that's one thing. But I don't think it's wrong for people to wonder how bad of a person this guy was when there's so much smoke. It seems like there's fire. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean anyone should be let off the hook, but it definitely doesn't mean he should be let off the hook. So those are my thoughts. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I hope you like the video. If you do like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.